Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Hello, friend. I'm Randall Terry, the host of this program. For those of you who are new, who have never seen me before, I want to tell you one quick thing about myself. I have a master's degree in diplomacy and international terrorism from Norwich University. Norwich University is a very old and prestigious military school, and they have a great program on international terrorism. The bulk of my research for my master's degree was specifically on Islamic terrorism. I have spent years of my life studying Islam, Muhammad, and Islamic terrorism, and that is in part why I went to Norwich to get my master's degree. I'm telling you that because I want you to know that when I say certain things, it's not that I heard someone else say it or that it's an echo of somebody else's complaint. It's because I've studied primary sources. I've studied the words and the deeds of Muhammad, the founder of Islam, his immediate companions, reading the most ancient and respected Islamic sources, respected by the Muslim world, to understand what is going on in Islamic terrorism that finds its roots in the first generation of Muslims. There are people who banter words about, and vocabulary and words are critical, but we need to stop and we need to assess and look and see what is going on. Because what we're seeing happening in Nice, in Paris, in San Bernardino, in Orlando. In fact, look at this cover of the New York, or rather the Daily Mirror from England. Let the full weight of that sink into you. There is a pattern. There is a direct connection to Islam. Islamic terrorists are connected to Islam. Now, in a minute I'm going to play the clip from Newt Gingrich because it was probably the most prescient, the most targeted comment I've ever heard by an elected or unelected official on a news broadcast. And he got it right 95% of the way. And so I applaud Mr. Gingrich for doing that. But what I want you to understand is this. There's people out there right now that are saying, we need to get rid of Sharia law, man. You got to testament Sharia law. I agree. Can you tell me what Sharia law is? Can you tell me where it comes from? Sharia law is the aggregate of the words, or the compilation of the words of the Quran, and in many circumstances, far more importantly, the words and deeds of Muhammad, the founder of Islam, that are not in the Quran. Now just stop for a second. Those of us from a Christian background say, oh, we have the Bible, they have the Quran. No. Their Quran is a very small book. It's about 1/8 the size of a Christian Bible. And it is very repetitive, okay? And there's many parts of Islam that are not in the Quran at all. They're in another body of literature called the Hadith. The Hadith is a record, like a biographical sketch of Muhammad, the things that he said and the things that he did while he was alive. For instance, Muhammad said, if a man leaves his religion, if he leaves Islam, kill him. That's not in the Quran. It's not in the Quran. But it's in Sharia law. Because Sharia law is the Quran and Muhammad's words and deeds. And if Muhammad did and said something repeatedly and it's not in the Quran says, in Muhammad you have an excellent example to follow. So the Quran says to Muslims, do what Muhammad did and you'll be safe with Allah. And so this terrorist in Nice, France, whose first name was Mohammed, he had been reading not just the Quran, he had been reading the Hadith. He had been reading the Siras, as they're called, S-I-R-A, Sira, that's biography, the biographies of Muhammad. And then he sat back and he said, what would Muhammad do? What would he want me to do? Kill infidels. And the reason that we know this is because he and we can read this literature. It's all right there. And so when people say we need to beware of Sharia law, they're accurate, but most of them don't know what they're talking about. And I want you to understand the truth. The truth of the matter is, when someone says we need to watch out for Sharia law, we need to do a litmus test on Sharia law, what they're really saying is we need to see if a potential or real Muslim terrorist is studying the life of Muhammad. Because Muhammad's life, his example, his words are the foundation for Sharia law. Without Muhammad's bloody example, the Mohammed Boulel in France, who just murdered all these people, he wouldn't have any example to follow. But by following Muhammad's example, he became a genocidal maniac committing mass murder. Why? You guessed it. Because that's what Muhammad did. I'm going to take a break. We're going to come back and watch Newt Gingrich's clip, and I'm going to start to develop a cadre of men and women who can be useful to our national security and our communities regarding the mosques that are in your town. I'll be right back. If you own a business and would like to advertise on our program, please contact us. We are currently seen on over 130 television stations from coast to coast. We air at 8 p.m. Eastern, and then all times are local. We have a lot of reach, friend, and this is an opportunity at a great price for you to get your product or your service in front of hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people. Also, if there's something that's important to you and you'd like to have a month where you just say thank you to this ministry or promote a certain ministry or a certain cause, contact us. Our rates are incredibly affordable. You'd be surprised. And you, again, can reach into hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of homes. We're currently seen possibly in over 30 million homes. So give us a call, give us an email, and we'll put a commercial up for you. Last night on Sean Hannity's television, the U.S. House of Representatives, Newt Gingrich made the following statement. I want you to listen closely. And again, if you're a new viewer of the program, I welcome you. My name is Randall Terry. You need to go on our website, watch this again, and tell your friends about it. Here's Newt. All right.
Well, first of all, Sean, as you know, I was in Paris just last weekend talking with people who are deeply involved in trying to deal with the Iranian government and other sources of terrorism. And let me also say, Daniel Silva has a remarkable new novel called Black Widow, and the entire opening section is on the systematic Islamic attack on Jews in France, which is the worst it's been since the Nazis. So let me start with where I'm coming from, and let me be as blunt and as direct as I can be. Western civilization is in a war. We should, frankly, test every person from here who is of a Muslim background, and if they believe in Sharia, they should be deported. Sharia is incompatible with Western civilization. Modern Muslims who have given up Sharia, glad to have them as citizens, perfectly happy to have them next door. But we need to be fairly relentless about defining who our enemies are. Anybody who goes on a website favoring ISIS or Al-Qaeda or other terrorist groups, that should be a felony, and they should go to jail. Any organization which hosts such a website should be engaged in a felony. It should be closed down immediately. Our forces should be used to systematically destroy every internet-based source. And frankly, if we can't destroy them through the internet, we should destroy them with kinetic power, using various weapons, starting with predators, and just frankly, just killing them. I am sick and tired of being told that the wealthiest, most powerful civilization in history, all of Western civilization, is helpless in the face of a group of medieval barbarians who, for example, recently burned 20 young women to death, burned them to death because they wouldn't have sex with them. A group which beheaded recently in the Philippines 2 Canadian businessmen. And we're told to be reasonable, to be passive, to not judge. Well, I just want to tell you tonight, everybody who watches this video, this is the fault of Western elites who lack the guts to do what is right, to do what is necessary, and to tell us the truth. And that starts with Barack Obama.
All right, that was, for some of us, that would have been the first time that we have heard somebody speak about going after somebody with a litmus test about their religion, what websites they're going to, deporting them. Now, some people think that that is extremist. The FBI currently does not allow their agents to look at the social media of terrorists and potential terrorists. So if somebody is going on a website that talks about restoring the caliphate, right, which is a key discussion, they're not allowed to look at it. Now, right after the terrorist attack, so you understand how important the caliphate is, right after the terrorist attack, a member of ISIS released this on Twitter. "Oh, France, you and all Europe will never be secure until we live secure on every inch of the land of the caliphate." Every inch of land of the caliphate? That's what it's going to take. What does that even mean? I'm going to tell you when we come back, because this is the core of the problem, and I'm going to show you how you can be of value in your community to out Muslims who are in fact a threat to our security. Friend, this program is supported by friends like you who believe in what we are doing. We run a very tight ship. Thankfully, we are on over 130 stations across the country, having tremendous impact. We get emails every day. We get letters in the mail, not every day, but almost every day. We hear from people who love what we're doing. What people don't understand is that it's sort of expensive to produce a television show like this. It doesn't require earth-shattering funds, but it does require financial help. So I am asking you, if you enjoy this program, throw us a $10 or a $20 bill every once in a while, or even a $50 or a $100 check. You see the address there on the screen. Your gifts are not tax deductible, by the way, because we want to be able to say what we want to say regarding politics without the IRS telling us no. So if you like the program, I ask for your support. Hello, friend. I'm Randall Terry. You're watching Voice of Resistance. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. One of the questions that we need to ask is, how devout is a Muslim? Now, that might sound, well, what do you mean, Randall? I mean, like devout, like how devout is a Christian, or how devout is a Buddhist? How serious do they take their faith? Exactly. How devout are they? How, and the way you tell a Muslim's devotion is their commitment, not just to reading the Quran or to praying, but their commitment to the Hadith, to Sharia law, to the example of Muhammad, to restoring the caliphate. These are words, dear friend, that we have to learn. Now, I'm going to explain to you how you can be an asset in your community. So picture a group of people going to a mosque. Dress up, look nice, call the press, let the police know you'll be there. Don't go in, stand on the outside and say, we call on the people of this mosque, and especially the leaders, to publicly state 2 things. 1, that they want the U.S. military to annihilate ISIS in the Middle East. We want them to kill the ISIS fighters. And 2, we renounce any plan, hope, dream of restoring the caliphate. Those two things. Now, for someone who doesn't understand Islam, they may say, well, man, that's really obtuse, or of course they'd want to kill the Muslim terrorists. No. Listen. Muhammad taught that if a Muslim helps an unbeliever against another Muslim, that they're an apostate, that they will burn in hell. He taught that it is okay for other Muslims to kill apostates. He said, "O Muslims, beware, do not take Christians and Jews for your friends. He who is a friend of them is one of them, and God does not guide the unjust people." If a Muslim stands up publicly and says, ISIS must be destroyed, and ISIS gets their address, ISIS could issue a hit on them, a death sentence, or so could Al-Qaeda. Do you understand that's why they're not troubled? ISIS and Al-Qaeda and other Muslim terrorists, they're not upset when they launch an attack and some nominal Muslims are killed. Their solution, their ideology, their religious response is very simple. They were helping the Christians and the Jews. They're one of them. And Muhammad said we can kill them. And so by calling on a mosque leadership to say we want to see ISIS annihilated, then we see where their loyalty lies. Is their loyalty to the U.S., to the United States, or is it to Islam? Is it to our freedoms, or is it to Sharia law? Now let's go to the discussion about Sharia law. I think in some ways it's the wrong question. It's almost a straw man. The question could be, and I propose to you that you ask, will you give up any hope or dream? Will you renounce any claim to restoring the caliphate? The Arabic word khalifa is a word that means successor. So when you ask a group of Muslims, will you give up? You ask a mosque, I want you to publicly state that you give up. You renounce any claim to restoring the caliph, the successor of Muhammad. That's where you'll see what they're made of. That's where you'll see it, because think about this. Sharia law repeatedly refers to the caliph will do this, the caliph will do that. The caliph is the successor of Muhammad. He's the enforcer of the rules. He's the one who enforces Sharia law. So if a group of Muslims in an American mosque want to restore the caliphate, by definition, they want Sharia law. By definition, they want jihad, because Sharia law says that the caliph shall wage war against infidels. The caliph shall take hostages and decide if they will be killed, or if they will be enslaved, or if they'll be released. If they want the caliph, if there's mosques in America that want the caliph, and they do, by definition, they are enemies of the United States of America, because the caliph is a completely separate government with a completely separate leader that is committed to our enslavement. Oh yeah, the caliph is committed to instituting Sharia law. Sharia law doesn't even function without a caliph. That's why the question has to be, will you renounce any claim to the restoration of the caliphate? And if they won't, then you know you're dealing with people who are committed to the overthrow of our systems of law and putting in place slavery for non-Muslims, because that's what Sharia law is, and it's executed by the caliph. I'll be right back. I want to invite you to go to our website. Almost every book that I have ever written is available as a PDF online for free. We have a ton of products, training materials, tools that are available for you for free. All we ask for is that you give us your email address. That's it. so that we can stay in touch with you and, yes, from time to time, ask you to support this work. So I'm inviting you, go to the website. Now, for those of you who say, well, I don't want a PDF, I want a real book. You can get one of my books. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling and then give whatever gift you want. And if you can't afford anything, we'll send you the book for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Why are we doing all this? Because we want to change the direction of the country, and we need to raise up a fresh generation of warriors to do that. That's why we have this tool. I invite you, go to the website, see for yourself. It took me 14 years to write it. 4 rewrites, countless edits. I poured my heart and soul into Dragon Slayers. At points a very inspiring and painful book to write. I encourage you to go to our website and look at the reviews that we have gotten from readers of this book, and then avail yourself. It's an allegory, and I promise you, you'll be inspired. We will soon be releasing a 10-episode documentary unlike anything that's ever been created in Western civilization. Watch the trailer.
I also want to speak tonight directly to Muslims throughout the world. We respect your faiths. Its teachings are good and peaceful. And those who commit evil in the name of Allah blaspheme the name of Allah.
Islam is a religion of peace. They are not Muslims, they are monsters.
At the same time, we have reaffirmed again and again that the United States is not and never will be at war with Islam. Islam teaches peace.
No, we are at war. New York, Boston, San Bernardino, Paris, Brussels, Madrid, London, Sydney, all over the world, Muslim terrorists are killing or enslaving their victims. Why? What motivates ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Muslim Brotherhood, and so-called lone wolves? The answer lies in the life of one man, Muhammad, the founder of Islam. Why do Muslim terrorists behead their hostages? Why do they murder people who satirize Muhammad in cartoons? Why do they take women as sexual slaves? Why do they have such deep hatred for the Jewish people? Because Muhammad did. Muslim terrorists have not hijacked the peaceful religion of Islam. They are following the example of its founder. Over 9 episodes, we will study different aspects and events of Muhammad's life, events that form the central motivating narrative for Muslim terrorists. In each episode, we will find out why Muslim terrorists believe their atrocities are ordered by God. You will learn how terrorists read ancient Islamic literature that they believe justifies their violence to non-believers. You will witness Muhammad's hatred of the Jewish people and how that continues to this very day. We will pull back the veil on the long history of sexual slavery and violence against women that has been committed since the dawn of Islam. If we hope to win this war, we must know our enemy, because Muslim terrorists are already fighting to the death, whether we believe in Muhammad or not. Friend, I'm asking you to right now go to the website that you see and pre-order this. You might be able to give us a $500 or $1,000 contribution. We still need to raise money to finish it. We're almost done, but no matter what, Pre-order the video today, and as soon as it's done, we will send you the entire 10-part episodic documentary. You'll know more than anyone on Fox and CNN when you're done watching it.